Good morning. Good morning. Boy, it's dark in the room right now, and even though I have a light in the room, that it's not registering, and I don't know how to do it. Let me see if I can switch something. I want you to be able to see something. Okay, I'm going to show this light here. My apology. It's early in the morning. This is my little light that I have in the room. Yes, good morning. This is Spirit Journey, and I hope all is well out there. It was hard for me to sleep. I had a video playing as I was resting this morning, and it got me thinking about a lot of stuff. And as I entitled this video, I entitled it a one word, they, exclamation point. Yes, hello viewer. Yes, yes, you could write a hello in the chat if you like, so I could give you an official hello, hello, hello. Yes. I want to talk about some things, and I hope it doesn't get too over the place. I'm a little upset. Upset about it's like the more you learn, the more that you find out about what makes life what it is, it's like opening up a Pandora box. Different things that I'm hearing about, like as I mentioned in the description, I will be talking about the California fires, Agenda 21, and things that are happening in New York City. I think they're all related, and so I call it they. You have they out there. And like the Matrix, as I say in the description, like with Neo in the movie The Matrix, that he was engulfed in a system, and it affected every aspect of his life, from birth to the grave. So I'll begin. I was watching a video about the California fires. Now, last year around this time, they had those fires in California, and I think some months ago I might have done a video about the topic. And then something this year, just maybe a month or a month and a half ago, it popped in my mind about those fires in California. They're really bizarre. And so, let me just click something here. I'm sorry. I was just clicking on something. Yeah. So in California, you had people, you had all these weird fires, and then, but there was many anomalies about these fires. For one, like, how could in a regular fire, forest fire, how could you have metal and glass melting? How could you have, like, it takes about 2,000 degrees to melt these substances? But if it's that hot, then how come the tree, which is very flammable, grass and all that, it doesn't catch on fire? Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning. Yes, I'm talking about the California fires, and you can type in the chat a quick hello. Let me know who's out there so I can say hello to you if you wish. Well, again, with these California fires, you have these weird anomalies, things that caught on fire in residential areas and businesses that are burnt to the crisp. You have, it's like completely flattened. Sometimes you might have a roof still standing, not a roof, I meant to say a fireplace still standing. But even the metal is all mangled and everything. And this kind of reminds me of 9/11 with the Twin Towers. And all that was just turned into dust. So it's the same type of phenomenon, in my opinion. Again, I'm not a scientist, just an observer like you and I. But all these weird things are going on, and I don't understand why. They showed pictures of neighborhoods like they had this field. It looks like it was a ball field, and almost exactly half down the middle, in a straight line, that it got burned to a crisp, the lawn. And then it had a fancy curve to it. It was like a curve and then a straight line. Now, how could something like that happen? Why did it happen? You got to ask yourself these questions. That is not by nature. Again, some of the photos that they showed online, anyone could Photoshop. We know that. You saw look like a beam coming from the sky, and um, the point of impact was a fire. How do these anomalies happen? How could you have a house that's untouched and surrounded by other homes that are burnt to the crisp? Or you have garage pails that are standing and pristine, but a house next to it and the trees next to it, the houses next to it is all messed up. The two don't add up. And um, I watched this one particular lady. She's a middle-aged lady living in California, and she's been documenting some of the things that happened to her. She talked about, I think she lives in Paradise, California, and the whole neighborhood, the whole area is burned to a crisp. And there was no warning. It's not like some fire somewhere down the road or something, and then they had like a PA system warning people about pending fire. There was no warning. There was no PA system for evacuation. But she found out, I think, through her neighbor, noticed something. And then the next thing you know, this boom, right at their, right by their home, within minutes. Things like that just don't happen. Why is it happening now? And it's not climate change, because those are the things that are happening, in my opinion, are man-made and not by nature, not by chance. Well, this lady that was documenting her experiences in California where the fire is, I think she lost her home. She was looked like a very wealthy woman, very upper middle class. And but before the thing burned down her home, it was some days before it progressed. She had a channel for, I'm not sure how long, but at least a few months. At least it was before the fire. And she noticed health concerns, like she's getting a receding hairline, and her little girl. She bought this what's called a black flashlight. It's a black light, and you're able to see you when you use the lamp. I mean, this flashlight. Um, things that you wouldn't see with the natural eye. And then she noticed these nanoparticles on her body. She has unusual mosquito bites all over that that is out of the normal. And where she lives, a lot of chemtrails. Then she has like FEMA trucks with what do you call it? Like a video camera at the rear of it. Now, why would you have that? Now the fire, the fire in California is going on, but you don't see them like helping people. There was no evacuation thing. They're not assisted people, but the trucks are there. She also exposed that they're what they call dummy um, companies around the area. What do you call it? Like industrial parks, I think you call them. Like it's like a series of businesses. The design of all the buildings around all look the same. It's like a business community. But they all seem to be owned by the same people. And what she did, she's a real smart lady. She's middle aged, and she went online to find out more about these business. It was something about the business, like it looked like it's the structure, um, and it's an attractive, um, bis industrial park. They have grass, trees, but there's no people inside. No one's working inside there. And she took a photo of it, and then she took got down the name and checked online, and there's no information about them. So it appeared to be dummy companies that yeah, they get a name, they start a business, but it's just a front. And just a lot of weird things they do. And she also talked about the smart meters, that they're causing problems since when she got the smart meter. it, their health, the family's health is not well, and the members of her family, they seem to be against her, she says. Now I'm wondering if this mother is getting affected. You would think that their kids are getting affected too, health wise, and they would be on her side. But like in reality, sometimes reality gets too strong for you, and it's better to be in the dark. And so they just think that she's kind of paranoid. So it just seems like she's just doing her video uh, very quietly, for them not to know about it. I mean, I don't know what they know about her videos, um, but it's very provocative. It's really interesting. I mean, I think if I would have seen her videos years ago, I would just think she's just a bored housewife. But no, when you really analyze what she's saying, and then she's showing the proof. She's showing um, her daughter's hairline, her her health, the what else? Just a lot of stuff. I say, I think she has a point about something, and it should be listened to. And then I'm watching other videos about the California fires, and again, the people aren't being helped. I start to ask myself. I said, wait a minute. I mean, they mentioned that they're missing people in the thousands. They don't know where people are. I'm thinking, wait a minute. Where could people go? Like, um, I mean, it's a fire, so you have to leave. And again, this neighborhood, Paradise, California, and probably other communities around there, they had to evacuate. It was mandatory. So where did they go? So this is where the conspiracy really, really comes in. So you have a possible direct energy weaponry, also known as DO, affecting the people of this part of California and possibly other states nearby. These weapons instantaneously, in a couple of hours, destroyed a whole township to dust, to the rubble. And then you have missing people. And then some of the YouTubers who documented the fires there said that there were bodies in the burnt out cars that are, you know, skeletal. It's very bizarre. All this heat, tremendous amount of heat. What's causing this heat? Well, direct energy would do that. So this is a war, it seems. And again, that woman, that woman from the mother and wife from California said, oh, what was that now? Oh boy, I just lost train of thought. But yeah, you have missing people, and where are these people going? So this is really, something that you really have to analyze. It's weaponry. And oh, I remember, this woman said that before the fires, that there was a helicopter. No, there was another lady. I'm sorry, it was another lady. And before the fire came, the fire destroyed her home. But before the fires came, she noticed that a helicopter was flying around her home in her town. And then shortly after that, the fires came. Also was mentioned with the, what you call the smart meter. She was saying that she another YouTuber said she did not want the smart meter because also she was getting these bad side effects. She and her whole family, and so they wanted to opt out, and they're being harassed by the company, and they show it online. All they had the camera showing, uh, taking down the audio. When there was a phone conversation, it was unbelievable. The dialogue that happened between this couple with the smart meter and the utilities company. Pure harassment. They eventually did send someone to remove it, but it's going to cost them an extra fee. And then the technician causes a an outage. It was like a big. They cut the wire, and all this electricity shot out and destroyed the power to the home. And now the utilities company is telling the customer that you got to pay for that. Other weird stuff. It's all harassment for going against the system because they don't want the smart meter. The smart meter, according to them and other YouTubers, that these smart meters aren't designed for these certain homes, and that they cause fires. And that couple that eventually did get this smart meter removed to the, I think it's called analog, the person that removed it said, hey, this was a fire hazard. It could have blown at any minute. if we didn't change the smart meter to the analog, it was a ticking bomb. So I'm wondering whether or not, yes, hello viewer, welcome. So I'm wondering whether or not the smart meter is something that is to cause fires, and if they don't like somebody, whether, I mean, that's being, maybe paranoid of me, but it's like, for instance, one researcher had mentioned that it was a scientist, that's right, it was a scientist, and not just a YouTuber, it was a documentary, and the person was saying that the technology has it that these smart meters can detect your emotions. It can detect what type of, whether you're home or not, because they'll see if an appliance is on, whether the TV's on, whether you're on your phone, everything. And it can send out this, what they call intelligence, to anyone who wants to receive this type of information. They could sell that information to somebody, and then they could spy on you, find out what your routine is, and when you leave your home, they could come in and break in your house and take what they want to take. So this is really, really getting invasive, an invasive system of people coming in, getting information from you, and for no reason. And if you say, well, I don't want to go through this, I don't want these smart meters because it is affecting my health, you get harassed. Why would they need to know what your mood is? I was watching also a program yesterday on the MK Ultra. It was like a documentary about the scientists of that era, and what would make someone be so ghoulish to take a human being and to do these experiments on non-consensual, stealth, even horrific experiments on their brain, putting in drugs like LSD in them just to study how it works. It's simply ghoulish. And then they mention about what you call, what do you call it? What they call a foundation, like a company who has individuals who have a lot of money and they want to protect their money, so they form a 401c3 tax exempt, and these foundations hide their money, and then they use their money for so-called goodly things, but they do horrific things. They may even fund, like they might fund different activities, different scientific activities, like the Planned Parenthood, or the MK Ultra thing, or the scientists that are about it. These scientists also work in universities. It seems like the universities and colleges is also a front for possible ABC agencies here and abroad. That the student pays the school, which pays the researchers slash scientists to do experiments. And again, why even want to know how certain things work. It's like, don't these individuals have a life of their own that they could, they need a life. They should just find a nice, significant other, have children, and just enjoy life and nature, but they're not. It's like social engineering, an extreme, an extreme amount of social engineering. And this is where the matrix comes in. And the they, as I entitled this video, the they that comes in. When I was looking at the people in the foundation, this 401c3 foundation that donate money, that's supposed to be philanthropic, and they showed what they look like. And they gave their names, their surnames. And these names just keep on repeating itself. And I called them the they. The they that run the fancy foundations, the Planned Parenthood. They control, they control the apartment management offices here where I live, I think. They run everything. They run, so let's say you live in a building, and like where I live, they're overcharging me. I paid it because I didn't want them to say, oh, well, she didn't pay the set amount. Let's make process to evict her. And yes, of course, with eviction is a procedure, but still, I just paid it and then going to contest. But why I said that things could happen, they have a lot of power. They have a lot of lobbying power, real estate. Just like Donald Trump is a real estate tycoon. Where do people live? People live in buildings, right? Developers. And if you are considered a troublemaker, let's say you just want to leave. Say, I'm not going to renew my lease. Oh, I don't like what's happening here. And then you go and you try to find another place. Well, they're going to ask you, the new landlord, hey, where did you live for the past 15 years? Well, what they could find out and contact that other management office / landlord. See, the landlords and the realtors, real estate developers, they all know each other and they all marry each other. Just look at Trump. All his kids married into families that are real estate management people. They own the development, just like Trump does. And to grow in the business, you have to marry into their families to be acceptable. So it's these they, as I call them, the they that are all over New York City, the New York tri-state area, probably the whole East Coast. It's a network. Just like the smart meter is a network. They're all connected. As that researcher said, that it's a network, and it could measure all these different aspects of your home life. Everything. So it seems to be like it's so compartmentalized that maybe not everybody knows sees the whole picture, but everybody has their specialty. And they just think, oh, I'm just taking a reading from the meter. I'm not doing anything. But it's their boss, and then their boss's boss, and their boss's boss's boss, and so on. It's the they. They control where you live. They may have like in the apartments they have this intercom, those new intercoms. You can speak into it. Well, can't they also eavesdrop? Right? If it goes one way, it could go the other. They may be able to watch what you're doing too. And then let's say the school system. Well, you want people to, if it's a new system, then you have to get the little kids introduced to this new system. So now it's a change in curriculum. And it's with the kids, they make it a more, what's that word? They're very worldly. They're also preoccupied with their phones. They're getting addicted to their phones. They're real selfish. What else? They're becoming confused about their identity, their core identity, such as gender. It was never heard of someone saying, I don't know whether I'm a boy or girl. I wonder whether it's the vaccines that are doing this. I hope you guys could hear me. Just type in the chat whether you can hear me or not. Just to make sure that I'm being heard, because I know my voice could drop. But either way, you have these people that are giving all these vaccines. Yes, hello, viewer. Yes, please let me know if you can hear me okay, just to write down a hello, that you can hear me or not. Also, with these vaccines, it's affecting certain demographics, like the vaccines in particular are affecting, as I was told, Robert Kennedy Jr. had made mention of this, that it in particular affects the black male, black people, the young boys. Why is that? How could a vaccine only affect one type of group? It's bizarre. How could this happen? Hey, yeah, I see you. Hi there, Robin. It's good to hear from you. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, it's good to see you. I didn't see your name initially. Yeah, I'm talking about these smartphones. That things are being utilized, and I'm just putting the dots together. So also, what's going on? Robert Kennedy Jr. mentioned that the boys are being infected. And in New York City, where I live, yes, hello, viewer. In New York City, where I live, there's a growing number of black men that are acting very bizarre. Now, again, it's not a dump upon homosexuals. No, this is not what this video is about. Not at all. You are what you are. If you want to be what you want to be it. But I'm talking about things that are being socially engineered through vaccination, that it's forced upon you to make you act a certain way. And so I see all this weird behavior with black men, young black men. So it's either you're a gay black male And it seems like they want to hire gay black males versus straight black men. Why is that? So it's like rewarding a behavior. It's rewarding you if you act homosexual versus an alpha male, an alpha black male, a leader of the community. They don't want that. Things that I personally am seeing in my neighborhood is very problematic. Again, I'm not gay bashing. You be what you want to be. I'm talking about social engineering, period. And so what's going on? So now you having vaccines that are affecting your ability to have children. Now you notice it's harder for women to even have children now. So this is where Agenda 21 comes in, as I mentioned in the description. Agenda 21. It's about limiting the number of people that are born via moving people from this city. I have to move my arm, I'm sorry. They're relocating people. They're pushing out California, the people in California, and again, these are affluent white neighborhoods. Okay, like it was Katrina a couple of years ago. What was that, about 9 years ago? Katrina, Hurricane Katrina, and it wiped out New Orleans, and everybody saw all those black people in that stadium, and they referred to them as refugees. Very bigoted statement, and very insensitive. But look further now. Now it's happening to rich white people from California at that. And how could this happen? How could rich white people be targeted in America? Well, it's happening. And what's happening is not about race anymore. I used to think that. I used to think it was all about race. But no, it's not all about race. It's about control. It's about control. Control um, over you, man, woman, and child, black, white, yellow, red, and brown. It's all races now. See, they first experiment on a group, and the group in America that was experimented on first are black people. They experimented on them socially about their rights and everything for hundreds of years. Now they perfected it, and now they're getting white people. Now they're burning them out of their home. They're setting up this, what they call direct energy weaponry. I believe a lot of people are suggesting that. Again, I'm not a scientist, but I'm just looking at the data. And the data doesn't add up to be a natural event, the fires in California. And I also heard that California wants to pull away from the United States. They want to be their own country now. So this could be done, if that is true. This is the first time I'm hearing it, just yesterday. If that is true, that California had made a point in earlier this year, in February 2018, that they want to be separate from the United States, this direct energy weaponry could be a punishment to them, and to push them off their land, to make the land in that part of town toxic, so you can't inhabitate in it anymore. Also, the people are no longer able to get insurance for the home, so they cannot rebuild. So what do you do if you can't rebuild? Well, you're forced to leave. You become instant poverty. You have to find another community to live in. This is unnatural, and this is happening fast. So if they're doing California, and California is a very progressive state, it has a lot of agriculture, a lot of different climates there, a lot of ethnic diversity. But now they're wiping it off the map. And so where are these people going to go? Where they're going to be pushed somewhere else. Then I'm hearing that there's missing people in California, in those burnt out places. They can't be found. So what happened to them? Did they all die? Or were they relocated? How come, like with Hurricane Katrina that happened some years back, they showed the victims there. They interviewed them. How come the fires in California, how come the victims are not being followed and interviewed like with Hurricane Katrina about the people who are losing their homes? Well, I think they don't want you to know that their house got vaporized, the system out there. So why is that? And then this leads me to this Agenda 21 about it's all about relocating people and forcing people, now such as these California people, and move them into new, inner cities. It's like they're slowly, it's like taking a broom and sweeping the people in one big pile somewhere else. So it's centralized. So you're centrally controlled, just like the black communities throughout America. Mostly black people of America live in large urban centers and are controlled by the same system. So they control their schooling, what they learn. They control what they can buy. So they're limited what type of foods to eat, and they get a lot of GMO food. So that's going to affect their genetics and behavior. They dumb them down in school. And you notice a lot of these blacks that live in these urban centers, if you notice what type of occupation they do now, nothing in itself wrong with these occupations, but it's creating a possible picture and a military type system. A lot of blacks, whether they be Hispanic blacks or English speaking blacks or West Indians, whatever you want to call them, that there's a large number of them that work in the correctional facilities and as security guards. And they're making them very aggressive. Why is that? Why is that being nurtured in these large urban centers? How come blacks aren't being encouraged to go into banking or law or medicine or science? New York City, they're not encouraging blacks to go into this. Instead, New York City recruits people from Asia and Eastern Europe to occupy these scientific fields. And if they're not in security work or in corrections, then they oftentimes they seem to be gay people that work in, how you said, let's say, retail. And what was the other thing? Yeah, retail. And it just very just notice when you go, if you're a New Yorker, live in New York City, I should say, go to the city and see the demographics and who works where. And then the newer immigrants from Latin America, they have them work in the food industry. So there's no real overlapping of industry between the groups. Blacks and West Indians work in corrections and security guard work, and Hispanics work in the food industry. And then the Asians and Eastern Europeans are being in the science and technology fields. So you just look at those different categories of fields and you see right off that it's a different pay scale with these occupations. It's a big difference. So just an occupation alone, it's segregating people to live in certain neighborhoods. And this Agenda 21 is now consolidating these affluent white neighborhoods and pushing them somewhere. These people are somewhere. So it's a system. That's what I'm getting at with this system. This they that is destroying California, forcing people out of their neighborhoods, and then tell them they cannot rebuild and where they're going to go. And then if you complain and then want to move, it's a network with the real estate agents, the real estate management, that that you have to get a reference, give them your references of where you lived in the past 15 years. And if they see that I speculate that if they see that you're a so-called troublemaker, that they'll deny you housing or make it so expensive that you can't afford to live there anymore. And I sense that's what's happening. And then now also with these, what do you call, like some people are talking about what they call implants. These implants, this one YouTuber I've been watching for a couple of months, she's been showing pictures of x-rays that she had done with what they call nanotechnology in her body, in her pelvic area and in her head and other parts of her body. And it causes, she hears people talking to her inside her head with this technology. And this audio technology is called voice to skull technology. That's voice to skull technology. And this technology, it's a microwave machine that you could aim it at someone and talk into the device. And since it's a microwave, it goes past the skull and past the cochlea of the ear, goes directly into the brain, and translates what's being said to that person. So it sounds like you hear the person's voice coming from within their head. And this YouTuber and many other YouTubers had shared this phenomenon. And she made mention for the first time that, like she calls it an audit, that she had an audit done on her life. She had this, what we call life insurance audit done. And she was born in 1979. And this audit said that she had a life insurance policy put on her from the 1970s and 80s. Now, she said, I'm just born, she was just born in 79. So someone was tracking her even at the point of her birth. And she's from a foreign country. She's from the West Indies. Now, how could that happen? And then other people had followed her when she moved into the country, the U.S. She was a teenager and she was being followed. They even followed her to when she went away to college. They followed her when she got a job, she said, at the UN. That's in New York. And then she noticed, some things had been happened to her health wise a couple of years ago, and she realized she's being what they call targeted. She went to get x-rays done and she found that she had what they call implants in her body. Her theory on what's going on is that it's a what you call she says rather than calling it a targeted individual, that it's about trafficking, human trafficking of people. It's about human trafficking. And that through vaccines, many times, uh, people people know what you're doing. People with this technology, and she mentioned, she showed on the video different websites. There was a developer of this. I forget the name of the individual, the company name, but it's the company that actually manufactures um, these what do you call it, RF, what do you call it, these implants, the uh, whether it be a RFID or a nano particle reader that's put in your body, that it was some patent done on it, and that they work alongside with Apple, the Apple company, and that they're profiting in the billions. That's what the B as in boy, a multi billion, in the hundred billions of dollars net profit, and that they want to sue Apple and other companies for um, patent infringement, something to that effect. That they owe, we call it residuals. I think that's the term. Like with music, if you play someone's music, you have royalties. That's the term, royalties. That Apple company and other companies owe this manufacturer the royalty that's being used on their system, and that these this manufacturer of these nano technologies, it's throughout the world. Over 100 companies, 100 countries, excuse me, 100 countries use this device, that is in them, and that they're being, as she called it, trafficking. At first, I didn't understand what she meant by trafficking. Like to me, in my mind, when I hear the word trafficking, that you're taking a person or group of people and you're moving them somewhere. Yes, you have that aspect, but I didn't understand it in the context she used it in. And then it clicked when she said about that these RFIDs and the nanoparticles are in them, and that they could be tracked from all over the world, over 100 countries it could be registered in, and that you can trade information with each other. So that's where it's coming from. That's the trafficking. That's what she means. It's not always the physical movement of the person, but the data of those people are trafficked and are sold and exchanged to different people who have different agendas. They're doing scientific um, analysis on them without their permission. And again, I mentioned with the smart meters that they're using in California, that it could measure the mood of the person, your mind, and read what devices that are on in your home. This is really invasive. So this YouTuber that mentioned about the that her theory about what's going on is that it's about um, human trafficking rather than human targeting. And she, oh, what's that now? I'm trying. Oh, she showed a video of this African fellow. He's from the Cameroon, that's in the central portion of Africa, and he got kidnapped. He was entering into northern Africa, and he got kidnapped in Libya. And now that Libya is unstable due to the U.S. and other countries getting involved and had Muammar Gaddafi assassinated, this allowed the free range of human trafficking into Europe. They're kidnapping Africans and they're doing what they call organ donation, organ harvesting. That's right, you heard me right. Organ harvesting, where they capture the guy and they remove his kidneys, his liver, and then they throw them in the desert. And so you find all these bodies are being found, and you see the bodies open up, and they did like a quick sew up when they sew up the incision after the operation, and they let some of them are still alive after the procedure. I don't even think that they had anesthesia, but they would kidnap them, and then they're selling their organs to Israel and other Western nations. It is horrific. And it's a lot, they said there's a lot of people are missing. Oh, also they mentioned about the ships the ships that are in the Mediterranean. They're making it that the guise is that the ships that are out there in the Mediterranean Sea is for oil digging, and not and this African person from the Cameroon said, no, it's not about, it's a cover story. It's a cover for their real activity. Their real activities is to capture the Africans fleeing their country, and they want to either go to Europe or Israel to live in. And then they go on these boats. They what they call boat people, and they capture the boats, and some of these boats capsize. He mentioned that uh, like these 14 boats would no 11 boats would be sent out, but only 5 of them survived. Only 5 of the boats, and all the other boats it perished in the Mediterranean Sea. Then these people who are pretending to be digging for oil capture these capsized ships, boats, and take the bodies and harvest their organs and sell it on the black market. That is human trafficking in the worst kind. And I heard about that in a documentary. They interviewed this guy. He was they got him on his deathbed. He was just about to die. They had the camera, and he explained what happened to him. They took his kidneys, and he mentioned that a lot of these leaders, even our leader here in America, know about the human trafficking, but it's so extensive and it's hard to control. So I mention these things because I want you guys to be informed so you can try to protect your children, protect them. Maybe you also start to wonder why all these Africans moving. Well, I think they're being forced out of Africa or given them promises and go into these poor countries in Africa and say, hey, you can get a job in such and such place. And so they leave. But that could just be a trap to capture them in North Africa and sell them into slavery. I don't know why they have such a hatred for African people, black African people. I don't know why. Because if they're so bigoted against black Africans, why are they using their body parts? I would if I hated a particular group, I wouldn't want their organ. Well, they're taking it and they're utilizing it. It's absolutely horrific. It's horrific about all these things that are happening. How this could happen. So again, I talk about the big they that control the emigration of these people fleeing Africa, the Middle East, or Central America. I talk about the they that control real estate. I talk about the they that control the banking system. I talk about the they that controls, as I think I might have mentioned, the banking, the school system. It brainwashes, teaches you what to think, how to think. I talk about the they who create neighborhoods and make it so that you don't have the supplies that you need to live. You don't have the fresh food because everything is GMO, so it affects your body. I talk about the they that control television and newspapers. I talk about the whole system, the local government. Who runs the show? At least in the New York tri-state area, who controls all this? You have you have a central population, and they seem to, on the surface seem very different what they're doing, but it's like a painting. You might have the picture of the arm, the eye, the head, the leg, but you put them all together, you get a person. So don't just look at the parts, look at the whole picture. Look at the chemtrails. Look at all it. They have control. So these are just some of the things I really wanted to talk about. And the medical field that, you're concerned that if you share with your doctor certain things that are going on with you, especially if you're a veteran and use their facilities, you may not be taken seriously. It's like they treat you differently. They don't treat you like a professional. And yes, I know you have some veterans who are a little hard, but they have an excuse. I mean, they're traumatized. But it seems like a whole system. You have military people, they ask for the records, and they're denied it. Why are they being denied certain records? Or let's say even a regular doctor, a private doctor, and they become afraid to share you your records? Why is your health being a secret from yourself? So these are just some of the concerns I have. But what I can say is no matter what they do to you, you have your soul, you have your spirit. And to put that inner smile upon yourself where it really matters, where it really, really matters, and that make your life beautiful to yourself. So that's all that I have to say. But I thank you guys. I thank you for watching. I thank you for your comments. Yes, this is a real journey this year. It's a big eye opener for me about what people could do to other human beings. We're acting very peculiar. I never remember, I don't remember life ever really being like this. It's so horrific. And yeah, again, one more thing about the Agenda 21 and forcing people to move away from California. That see, if it could happen in California, and this was a rich community, it could happen here in New York City. It could happen in Pennsylvania. It could happen in Maryland. It could happen in, Florida. It could happen in any state, any nationality, any race or color, any religion, any orientation. It could target you. So we really have to come together as one. Let's protect what is good about our nation. Let's make America beautiful again. It was never perfect, but it's my home, and it's your home if you live here. Let's make it our home and have a beautiful life. Love your kids. Teach them who they are. Let them know that they're loved. Let them know their history. And give them responsibilities so you can teach them how to become a full participating adult. So I thank you all. I thank you viewers for all your listening. I had a lot on my chest, a lot of wickedness going on. Take care of your health. Do things to, drink your water, filtered water. Try to get your exercise, and I'm saying this to myself too. I need more exercise. Listen to what your body is telling you. Listen to your aches and pains. Start documenting things that are happening to your body, the type of people you encounter that's out of the normal. And it may present to you a picture of what's really going on behind the scene. Okay? So, with that last note, I wish you all peace and love. And yes, please share this video with your friends and family members. You could subscribe to Spirit Journey. You could give me the thumbs up. And I also have, for those of you who like my work, my channel, you could donate to my PayPal me account. You can find this link to my PayPal on my channel itself. You just like on this live stream, just click on Spirit Journey channel, and then you're going to get to my channel page, homepage, and on the top right of the banner, you'll see the icon PayPal. You just press on that and follow the link. Yes. So I thank you. And if you have any personal stories to tell me, you could go to my About Me page, and you could email me. My email address is spiritofazalea@gmail.com. That is spiritofazalea@gmail.com. That information is on my About Me page if you need to get in contact with me. If anything you want to share that might be too personal for you to write down in the comment area. So take care and enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy your holiday. Bye bye, guys.